All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to explore something pretty fascinating: the bridge between ancient wisdom and modern science. We're talking about the idea that your mind, yes, your mind, might just hold the power to heal your body from the inside out. We're going to see how cutting edge research is actually starting to confirm what philosophers have been saying for centuries. So, let's start with a really powerful question. Can your thoughts actually make you sick? Or can they heal you? For the longest time, that might have sounded like, wishful thinking. But what we're about to see is that the science is finally catching up to the idea that our internal world, our stress, our happiness, has a direct line to our physical health. And believe it or not, this science has a name. It's called psychoneuroimmunology. I know, it's a mouthful, right? But it actually breaks down pretty simply. You've got psycho for the mind, neuro for the nervous system, and immunology for the immune system. This whole field is giving us the proof for what we kind of feel intuitively, that our thoughts and our feelings are directly connected to our body's ability to fight off illness. Now, to really get our heads around this, we first have to ask ourselves a pretty fundamental question. How do we see our own bodies? Do you think of your body as just a complex machine? A bunch of biological parts and pieces? Or could it be something more? Maybe something like a finely tuned instrument? Let's take a look at these two really different ways of seeing ourselves. So, on one hand, you've got the scientific view we're all familiar with. Our body is this incredible chemical factory, made of skin, blood, bone, all that stuff. But there's this completely different philosophical view that sees the body not just as a thing, but as an instrument. It's a tool for what's called a sadik, which is just a word for a spiritual seeker, on a journey of personal development. The real change here is the purpose. You go from just passively existing to actively trying to evolve. And this whole body as an instrument idea really hinges on a concept that might be new for a lot of us. It's the idea of a vital energy, a kind of life force that flows through and animates our physical body. This life force is called prana. Now, the source material describes it as a subtle, vital energy. And it's really important to get this. It's not the same thing as the bioelectricity that we can measure in our nerves and our brain. It's considered something much deeper, much more fundamental, like a subtle current that powers our entire physical form. And this prana energy isn't just a vague cloud floating around inside of us. It's said to flow through very specific pathways in the body. These are called nadis. You can almost think of them like the body's subtle energy circuits. And among all of them, there are three main channels that are seen as the key to regulating our entire system. Okay, now this is where it gets absolutely fascinating. Just look at the parallels to modern science. The Ida channel on the left, it's described as calming and cooling. That is a perfect description of our parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode. Then you have the Pingala channel on the right, which is activating and heating. That's a dead ringer for our sympathetic fight or flight response. And that central channel, Sushumna, it represents perfect balance, or what modern science calls homeostasis. It's just a stunning example of ancient intuition mapping almost perfectly onto modern scientific discovery. So the big question is, if this subtle energy system actually exists, how can we connect with it? Well, the path, according to this view, lies in a very specific meditative technique, an art of deep body perception. The technique is called Sharira Preksha, and that literally translates to perception of the body. But we're not just talking about thinking about your body. This is about developing a profound, direct awareness of its inner workings, both the physical stuff we already know about and that subtle flow of prana. I really love this quote from the source material. It paints this practice not as just passively sitting there, but as an active process of swimming against the current. It's about making your consciousness so strong that it's no longer just dragged along by old habits and automatic reactions. Instead, you can actually start to take the wheel. But how is that even possible? I mean, controlling something like your heart rate? It's described as a three-step journey. First, you just acknowledge that most of our bodily functions are totally automatic, right? We don't think about them. The second step is to bring your focused, meditative attention to one of those processes. Just watch it without judging it. And then finally, with enough practice, that focused attention can actually turn into conscious control. You're basically transferring the command center from your subconscious to your conscious mind. And this is where it all comes full circle. What actually happens when you practice this kind of deep body perception? Well, the claimed benefits are just profound. They affect everything from our immune cells all the way up to our entire state of consciousness. I mean, just look at this list of the physical benefits they claim. It's like a complete system-wide reboot. You see right there at the top, enhancing the body's immunity, which brings us right back to where we started. But it's also about balancing the nervous system, improving circulation, even helping the body get rid of toxins more efficiently. It's really suggesting a massive upgrade to the body's own ability to regulate and heal itself. And to give you some perspective on just how complex your body is, think about this number: over 1 million. That's a rough estimate of how many different kinds of proteins are working inside you this very second. 1 million! Managing that incredible biochemical symphony is a feat handled entirely by your subconscious. The goal of a practice like Share Your Picture, then, is to learn how to consciously step in and help conduct that amazing, complicated orchestra. And of course, the benefits aren't just physical. They go so much deeper, into our mental and emotional worlds. The claims are honestly extraordinary. Things like addressing the deep emotional roots of mental illness, increasing your moment-to-moment awareness, and even transmuting your internal chemistry to create feelings of bliss and lightness. And that's really the ultimate idea here. By changing your perception of your body, you can actually change your body's chemistry. And in doing that, you can change your entire experience of being alive. As we start to wrap up, the source leaves us with this one last really provocative thought. It suggests that everything we've talked about so far, influencing immunity, controlling automatic functions, that's really just scratching the surface. The text proposes that beyond the limits of our normal senses, there's this huge, untapped field of human potential waiting, a whole realm of consciousness we're only just beginning to explore. And so, we don't end with an answer, but with a question for you to really think about. By truly looking inward, by bridging that ancient gap between our mind and our body, what are we really capable of? What are the true limits of human potential? Thanks for watching.